we now move to questions. We're a little bit finishing slightly later than the schedule, but we've got a few minutes for questions. If anybody has one, do please put up your hand or pop a question in the chat, and I can relay that. Does anybody have a question from the listeners at home? Otherwise, I have one, which we can start on, perhaps while other people are gathering their thoughts. Oh no, hang on, there's a new message here. Oh no, that's a thank you. There was a comment from, which you may already have seen, which is from Jeanette Ozcan. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that, but just to thank you, and that Jeanette is building a student team working on a bio-inspired creativity project, and is inviting you to get in touch about that. And I imagine we'll probably try to get in touch with you as well. So that sounds very interesting and promising. My question, if I could start with that, is about the kind of responses to this from various audiences, and it is a question to both Daniel and Saloni, which is, I mean, obviously, Daniel, you talked about people actually kind of coming and listening, many of whom I should imagine have an interest in the, well, you actually said they have an interest in that kind of environment anyway. Did you have any unexpected visitors? Did you have any unexpected feedback? And I guess the same from Saloni as well, from other kind of interested parties or people who you weren't expecting to hear from. You might have experienced it.
Daniel, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, so one of the most interesting encounters that we actually had was from, I'm trying to see if I've got the recording somewhere, because it was quite amazing. But it was an African Apostolic Church group who were coming down into the woodlands. I'm trying to remember, it was many years ago, but I think it was in Vine Shade, if I'm not wrong. And it was on the Sunday morning, and they came down and sat with the piece and then began singing a choir piece along with it. And it was one of the most incredible kind of acoustic experiences to hear this kind of spread through the woodlands. I think that for me was definitely the most amazing interaction with it on a human level that we've heard. Of course, we've had a lot of animal visitors as well in responses. So a lot of cables chewed through. We've had muntjac deer passing through the piece, owls on the night walks, which was quite amazing. And generally, though, I have to say, like, the most rewarding visits, I think, have come from young people and families who've really engaged. You know, as I say, I think for us, a big part of the attraction is being able to work outside of the normal kind of strictures of a gallery space, and encouraging people to engage, because I think that's always been the reticence of some, you know, some of the woodlands. But I think trying to create something that does, going back to what Saloni said, has an attractive narrative and an engagement that, you know, it kind of creates that emotive response to the piece, where people who might have been quite skeptical actually engage with it quite deeply. So for us, I think that's the most rewarding.
Thank you very much. And Saloni.
Yeah, it has been a very interesting experience for me, because I have collaborated on a lot of smaller projects, and one of my favorite is when high schoolers would, like, I would go to these climate events, and high schoolers would come and be like, oh, I saw this and that got me interested, and now I'm trying to make this art, and that just makes me so happy, because the idea was to, like, simplify things so everyone could, like, digest it. So that is one of my really personal favorite winning moment. but also I worked with Black Women's Wealth Association and really small entrepreneurs that were trying on showing how these niche markets and how like people were people had such a good capacity of doing things and being able to visualize that and then showcase and help them raise their funding and help them in whatever I could has been really empowering.
That's amazing. Thank you very much. Has anyone brewed a question?
Hello.
Yichen, hi.
Can I have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Hi, Elena. Well, thanks. Sorry, it's pretty late in Australia, so hopefully the sound works. So yeah, thanks guys for the talk. It's really amazing. And particularly, I think actually Saloni, I live in Canberra, so it's great to see good to mention that at the beginning of your talk, because we really had really bad bushfire back in 2020, and the whole university couldn't operate. So. But yeah, I just wondered, because the whole talk it was about data, and I think it's getting more and more important now. We are creating these several physical systems, and I wondered both of you guys can, reflecting on your work or the previous work or future work, how you treated the data more kind of like even from the beginning of the collection of it, and how you kind of embedded in your work, and like just more kind of I would love to hear more kind of reflections on that kind of more sustainable kind of perspective.
Yeah. It's a great question and a really big question, and also thank you for staying up. It must be what 3 a.m. there, so much appreciated. The data, it's taken a very long time actually for us to get to the point where we can use the data in a sane way, because it took a few false steps. So the very first work that we did, Variable 4, gave us a really great experience in how to effectively scale and redistribute data from the weather station in a way that we can navigate it as a space without being really susceptible to outliers, because you want to effectively, for the weather data, we have a number of different dimensions on a very basic level: sunshine, rainfall, humidity, wind, etc., which is a really key thing in living symphonies. We do a lot of post-processing of that data to redistribute it using what you'd call an empirical cumulative distribution function, which effectively means that it looks at the distribution of data that you get over time, and then it kind of whitens it so that you're not spending almost all of your time in this median area, but the piece can give equal kind of airtime, I guess, to different areas of the data input, effectively, so that you get to experience the full variety of the piece in a way that is still faithful to the original kind of distribution of the data. As I mentioned, all of the ecological data has a very kind of hybrid structure, in that some of it we take from academic resources, so things like movement speeds of animals, like the times of day that different creatures will emerge and disappear, and responses to weather and this kind of thing. So this is all handled in, it's effectively a spreadsheet. We have a big database in which we've collated all of that, but that's the kind of static fixed data. And for us, what is really nice, as I mentioned, is that then we add all of this live subjective data, which really gives the color to the piece. And so that static fixed data is kind of in the background, and then the color, as it were, comes from all of the observational data and the animal spotters and so on and so forth. All of that is encoded within the software framework. And I think that's probably all that is really. Did that answer your question? Yeah, great. Okay. And I should also say that actually a lot of the data processing code is open source on my GitHub as well. So I'll be happy to share that with you afterwards with that data handling code.
Thank you. Saloni?
Yeah, thank you so much for staying up. It is very difficult to stay up for me, so I really appreciate it. For me, I think academic research is one of the best places to get credible data, because they're usually peer reviewed before they are published. So getting those data sets means that you're looking at, like, someone has checked the accuracy of it. The other data sets that I generally rely on is Global Forest Watch, Global Animal Watch. There are a lot of APIs. If you want, I can also link Anna to some of it, Anna, Peter, to it. Those are the APIs that give you like information on, like, when scientists are going in a forest, they saw this animal or this insect, and they'll just map it that I just saw it right now. And then that would create a really robust charting of those interactions itself. So using both of them as a really credible source. And I did a little bit of first-hand observational data collection. That is more of what I do is I sketch just the base map. I have that printed, and then I just start putting dots on top of it and trying to use colors or pens to just make a hand-drawn information. And then I start putting it in the software and start simulating it. But my process usually like when I'm collecting firsthand, usually starts with just hand sketching and then moving it there.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think so. I just, on the second note or comment, even to myself, like, because I think we're looking more into the AI world, and mostly we use the data, right? So it has to be kind of like, even for AI researchers, right, they have to be more careful about how to kind of process those data, so that can have really kind of good implications of what they want, right, from their work. Yeah, but thanks. I think. Yeah.
Just really quickly wanted to say, while Saloni was talking, it reminded me of a great resource that I found. I'm sure you might well have seen this, Saloni, the Encyclopedia of Life, EOL.org, which is an incredible reference to different species data. But also another negative anecdote came to mind, which was that I was trying to do some research via ChatGPT. So I was looking for wingspan data. I asked ChatGPT to give me a CSV file of wingspan data for 20 different species, and it just did it. It was amazing. And so I copied this into the spreadsheet. Then I started to verify it. Completely false. Some of them were half or double the true wingspan. So I just had to delete the whole thing and start from scratch. So I think that would be a reminder of what not to do.
Cautionary tale.
Yeah, a cautionary tale. Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant. And thank you very much. And thanks for you, Chen, for your question as well. Okay, so I think we've kind of run out of time for questions, but well, I'll say thank you very much, and then I'll hand back to Anna. Thank you very much, Saloni and Daniel. Those were thoroughly enjoyable talks and inspiring. I shall be looking at that in more detail now as well. So I'll pass back to Anna.
Yeah, well, big round of applauses. Thank you so much for the talks, which were brilliant and excellent. And just a very quick reminder about our third and last seminar, if you like, within this seminar series. So I'll share the screen very quickly. So if you like this seminar, there is a next one in 2 weeks' time. So you can see it here on Wednesday, November the 15th at 3 p.m. UK time by Liz O'Brien and Alice Eldridge. So we really hope to see you all there as well. And yeah, thank you so much. We are very happy about these events happening, and today was a great day. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.